Condominium towers as tall as 22 stories were declared uninhabitable in Daytona Beach shores and New Smyrna Beach after seawater undercut their foundation. That storm blamed for at least 5 deaths. America's listening to Fox News.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovyx.
Orgovyx Relugolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovyx is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovyx may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovyx can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovyx treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovyx may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovyx. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Cloudy conditions continue throughout this evening with a northwest wind 15 to 30, but becoming 10 to 20 miles an hour tonight. Skies will remain mostly cloudy with a low of 15. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy on Saturday. Temperatures reach near 20 in the afternoon with a north wind around 10 miles an hour with an overnight low Saturday of 16. Sunday, mostly cloudy, 24 for a high, light wind with a chance for snow flurries overnight. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Plains Grain and Agronomy is seeking to hire you. Are you a self-motivated professional who understands agronomy operations, including maintaining plant facilities and equipment, have great computer knowledge, a Class A CDL, has excellent time management and customer service skills? This job is for you. You must pass a pre-employment drug test and able to lift 50 pounds. More on the website. Go to plainsgrain.com. That's plainsgrain.com for this agronomy operations position.
Live from the PetroServe USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
I was born free here on a Feel Good Friday. Happy Veterans Day. And of course, thank you to all of our amazing veterans out there for your service and your sacrifice to continue to celebrate freedom here in this great nation. Yes, 11/11 is Veterans Day. So if you've got any great veteran stories that you want to share, I would love to hear them from you so we can take some time today and pay tribute to our great veterans. As always, the number to call into the show, 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. Or you can just text us as well. It's very easy to do, 701-203-2260, 701-203-2260. Thank you so much to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our email inbox, our text line, if you want to call in. We got a lot to discuss today. We do want to pay tribute, obviously, to the vets. I'll share with you a special story for a special veteran of my own in just a moment. But first, just because we are the United States of America, we are the leaders of the free world, speaking about freedom. And just to inspire you and I heading into the weekend here, we're going to talk some state championship football later on in the show. But just for sheer inspiration, I want to play this clip for you from John, if we can get the volume, please. But I want to play this clip for you just to inspire you, knowing that this is the leader of the free world. The leader of the free world, right there, folks. Reading the, it's a tweet from James Wood. They might as well just put the teleprompter like right behind him, right next to him, so we can just read along with him and be like, and quote, turbocharged. It's really difficult at times to watch what is happening. It's painful. So again, we would love to focus on some good things here on a Feel Good Friday, and that, of course, is our veterans. John, do you have any special veterans in your life?
Well, let's see. My dad, he was in the Army. My brother was in the Army. My girlfriend's dad, he served under Patton. He did 4 beachhead landings in World War II. Yeah, there's some people in my life. Yeah, for
Wow.
sure.
That is fantastic. Tell them thank you. If they're still around, tell them thank you for their service. I've got a special veteran in my life as well, and he's on his last day. It may be today. I found out yesterday that my grandpa, 96 years old, be 97 in a couple months. He's going home. He's going home to be with the Lord. He served in World War II. He was there in Japan when the peace treaty was signed, was able to see that. He's got some just really, really incredible stories. But Gramps, I love you. Thank you for your great service to our country. And I had the opportunity, as we all know, last night it was blizzarding out, and so I got done with the show, and I was like, boy, this could be a treacherous trip heading down to see Gramps. He's in Wapaton. But I can't tell you how many times my grandpa, me playing football and hockey and different sports, how many times he would jump in his car and do what we all do here. You know, you go through the storms, you go through the blizzards, and you just kind of get her done. And so I jumped in the car late last night and drove down to Wapaton, skidded around the roads a little bit, the interstate, but finally got there, and it was really a treat and a pleasure to sit down and see him, which I'm presuming is going to be for the last time. And I had the chance to tell him I love him, and it was great to be there. He was not fully present all the time, but had that sort of final exchange to put some closure to a great life that he's had. I mean, 96, so he would have been 97 in February. And I think one of the great stories last night, because, obviously all of us, we've never known life without our grandparents. And so you sometimes just forget some of the amazing feats that they've had. But John, wait till you hear this one. So I found out last night that on November 27th, if Gramps were to live that long, my grandparents would be celebrating 74 years. A 74-year anniversary. I mean, that is just, so we were talking about last night at some other family there, and it was like, I think the record right now is maybe 76, 77 years is the longest, living couple in America, and they're right on the heels. 74 years. So I just take a moment and think about being with somebody for 74 years. I remember when my grandpa first went to assisted living, because my grandma then stayed in the apartment, and she's like, Chris, there's just those days where you've been around somebody so long that you just think you can just hear their voice, right? I mean, they're just there and sort of ever present. So thank you for letting me indulge and share that with you, because it really was a special time to go down and see Gramps last night, and wish him well as he heads home to the Lord. And I'm sure many of you have been around people that are on their final days, but you can get a sense of the peace in them. And I think also what is nice, if it bears out to be true here, is my uncle and I were talking last night, like just a kind of a perfect ending for Gramps. I mean, he right when he got out of high school, wanted to go serve our nation, ended up being in the Navy. So if it's God's will and he passes on Veterans Day, it just seems like a very appropriate time for Gramps to do that. And the only reason I'm able to say this with the way I am right now and not breaking down is because I felt at peace last night, being able to drive down there, see him, and wish him well. And Gramps, he was one of those guys that was always there. I mean, he was a high school coach. We would go to Broncos training camp. He's breaking out, X's and O's, and I'm going to go talk to Shanahan. Shanahan should be. I'm like, Gramps, Shanahan's just fine with the Broncos right now. He's going to be just fine. And so, Gramps, I love you, and hang on as long as you can. Hang on as long as you can. I started on Tuesday's show, and I hate to say it, and I don't want to talk about being prescient, because you always say things and hope they're in jest, and then you end up being somewhat prescient. And you're like, oh, jeepers. I didn't want to be prescient at this one, but it started to look that way, where I said on Tuesday, hey, happy Red Wave Day, happy Blue Victory Week. And there is news coming out today. It hasn't been officially called, but the Cook Political Report, Dave Wasserman, is now calling the Arizona Senate race for Mark Kelly. Again, that's not official, but he's just saying, hey, I've seen enough. I see where the votes are at. Mark Kelly's up by a couple points. He is suggesting that seat is going to go to Democrat Mark Kelly, the incumbent. So that should put it now, I think, at 49-49 and makes it even that much more challenging for the Republicans to take over the Senate after this runoff in Georgia. John, have you ever known the U.S. government to do anything quickly?
When
Other
I
than-
didn't pay my taxes, they were pretty quick to send me a letter. And I was just a little bit late.
I was just going to say to you, other than an audit, have you ever known the U.S. government to do anything quickly? And I just want to bring this up to you. You may remember earlier in the week, we were talking about, some of the breakdown in these exit polls and why we all were sort of shocked that it went from a red wave to a red ripple. And we're like, how? How can anybody in their right mind vote for John Fetterman? How can anybody in their right mind vote for more inflation, more crime? Like, many of us were just pulling our hair out going, what in the world? Like, there's just no way that people are going to vote for more of that. And so we gave you a breakdown on the demographics on the exit polls, according to CNN. And just a quick reminder here, and then I'm going to get to my point about why this matters to you and me, is so if you're 65 plus, you're a Republican plus 13. So 65 plus, older people voting Republican all the way, very, very strong. 45 to 64, Republicans 11 plus, very strong. If you're, 45, 64, you're voting Republican. But then you get into those younger demos and things change and change quickly and rapidly and bigly, as President Trump would say, very bigly. And what I'm getting at is this: if you break down the 18 to 29-year-old demo, they were plus 28 Democrat. So you could make a very strong argument that Gen Z is the group that basically pushed the Democrats over the top on a lot of these races. They thought, there's no way. Even in Minnesota, I think you could make that argument because things are shocking in Minnesota. The fact that the Democrats took over the Senate in Minnesota, I don't think anybody saw that come. At least I didn't see that coming. Jensen just got thumped. I didn't see that happen as badly as it was. So Gen Z, that younger demo, came out in droves. And you got to ask yourself, why? Like, what happened? How could this be possible? I'm getting to my point here about the government doing something quickly. Let me remind you, think about this for a moment. In fact, we heard the news last night that a Texas judge has now stopped the Joe Biden, King Biden student loan forgiveness program. But what's amazing is, John, do you have any idea how many people actually applied for the student loan forgiveness program? What would you guess?
5 million?
Yeah. You know what? I would have probably said a very similar number. 26 million people applied for the loan forgiveness program. Many of them, obviously, within that demographic of 18 to 29. It was a beautiful, beautiful election ploy for Joe Biden to stand up and go, look, by a stroke of a pen, I can wipe away 10, 20 grand from your student debt. Here's what's amazing. On August 24th, Biden announces that tens of millions of Americans would be eligible for this loan forgiveness program. So 20 grand, 10 grand, right? You think, okay, August 24th, it's the federal government. They're probably going to get these things done by, 2026, 2024, but it's going to be years until any of this relief is actually seen by any actual human being, because it's the federal government. I mean, it's bureaucracy at its best. It takes forever. 24th, he makes the announcement. Originally, the Education Department, I'm quoting here, has said that the borrowers would receive forgiveness within 6 weeks after they applied. I mean, it was, when you look back now, you think, gosh, what a brilliant campaign technique. Let's just give away 10, 20 grand to people. And you and I, the rubes, the taxpayers, get to pay for this. As these guys are going to go out, I'm sure you've heard the data that they're not going to go save it. They're not going to go apply it to, they're going to go have nice dinners. A lot of them are going to go to Greece. They're going on vacation on you and me. So within 6 weeks, the full application launched on October 17th. Within 3 weeks, 26 million people had requested relief. And to date, this is just a recent article, to date, 16 million of those 26 had been approved. Never in the history of the federal government have you seen them move so quickly, except when they know that their butt is on the line to hold power. They still haven't called the House. We still have not called who's actually going to be running the House in January of 2023. We all presume it's going to be the Republicans, but we don't know because they're trying counting ballots in California. But to have anything within the federal government, especially when you're talking about this kind of money, 10 to 20 grand, and have that kind of relief happen within just a matter of weeks, it was a brilliant, brilliant campaign strategy. Would love to know your thoughts on that and much, much more. We're going to speaking about the campaign and what's going on. Why does it take so long to count the ballots? Got a really great clip from Marco Rubio. I'm sure many of you have seen the crypto carnage, the crypto meltdown that's happening as well. If we have time, I just want to touch on that for you because it's really, really bad. The contagion is probably going to be really, really bad. But there is a silver lining in it that we've talked about here before on the show, and I'll break that down for you. And of course, as always, please email us. You can do so, studio@chrisbergshow.com. You can text us as well, 701-203-2260. Thanks to Red Wing Shoes. You can find out more if you want to get some great work boots that are customized just to your feet. Go to redwingshoes.com. Again, that's redwingshoes.com.
Welton's Tire Service remembers and salutes all veterans who have served and those who continue to serve. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. Happy Veterans Day and God bless you. From your friends at Welton's Tire Service in Lisbon.
If you're an early riser, Moxie Java at the Lights in West Fargo is ready to serve you every weekday morning at 5:30 a.m. Whether you stop through the speedy drive-thru on your way to work or you have time to kill and want to cozy up to our warm fireplace inside, Moxie Java has a great fall lineup of new drinks like their pumpkin chai latte, Red Bull Sunset, or peanut butter cookie latte, and of course, their famous fan favorite, the pumpkin spice latte. Grab one of their fresh baked pastries to enjoy with your favorite beverage. Moxie Java at the Lights in West Fargo, right next to Bell Bank.
Thrifty White Community Health Corner. Time to prepare for flu season. Your local Thrifty White pharmacy is offering the seasonal flu vaccine and updated COVID-19 boosters. The CDC recommends both vaccines and is safe to receive them at the same time. Our certified immunization pharmacists have enhanced training and safety protocols so you can feel safe about getting your vaccine. Schedule your flu shot and COVID-19 bivalent booster online at thriftywhite.com.
The biggest bed sheet sale ever is on at mypillow.com right now. mypillow.com. Remember to use the promo code Scott and get Giza sheet sets as low as $29.99 when you use the promo code Scott at mypillow.com. Now, you might say, well, what's with this Giza cotton sheet, Scott? Why do I need those? Well, they're made with the world's best cotton, which is called Giza, grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's long staple cotton that makes it ultra soft and breathable. Its satin weave gives them a luxurious feel. Available in multiple colors, styles, and sizes. It's also machine washable and durable with a 10-year warranty. 60-day money-back guarantee. Right now, $29.99 with the promo code Scott. As low as $29.99 with the promo code Scott at mypillow.com, mypillow.com for the biggest bedsheet sale ever.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
He's live this Saturday, the 12th at the Hankinson Community Center. The Strasburg superstar, Milo Hetzenbuehler, with a night of music and a dinner show. Tickets available at area Hankinson businesses or call 701-899-3087.
Born in the USA. This is the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. Coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studios as you're heading out and about for the weekend, maybe going to a Bison game, whatever it might be. Please stop into your local PetroServe USA. As we mentioned to you before, one of the beautiful things about many of the PetroServe USAs not only are they helping you and America feel better, they're helping you feel better as well because many of them got the Cafe USA. You can go in and get some delicious burgers, some chicken, some really great warm food. So as you fill up your car, walk on in, step on into the Cafe USA and get some great food as well. That is PetroServe USA, helping you in America fuel better. So Tucker did a really nice piece last night talking about how, which I'm sure all of us are asking ourselves, how does it take Maricopa County days and days and days to count the number of votes in one county when I know Florida started early on some of the early voting, I get it, but they did what, 7 million votes in the state of Florida, good to go by, Tuesday night. They reorganized their election situation because obviously there's been some debacles in Florida, as we all know, hanging Chad, but they cleaned it up. They got her done. We know that there was issues in 2020 in Arizona, the way it was called, what happened later at night. And so how does this continue to go on in Maricopa County? And the problem is now it just creates more and more distrust. Tucker did a good piece last night talking about, I think it was, and I may not get these numbers exact, but I think there was 18 races in the last couple elections where this extended voting situation was taking place, determining who was going to be the winner. And like he said last night, you would think, okay, 18 races, but you know what? This is fair. Everything's out in the open. It's transparent. And yet, here we are. You had 13 of the 18 flip Democrat. 77% went Democrat. The rest, obviously, Republican. That's not a coin flip. That's not 50-50. And you've got to ask yourself, what's going on? So I want to share with you here a quick interview that Laura Ingler had with Senator Marco Rubio in regards to why Florida did such a great job. And I didn't realize this, and maybe it's just my naivety, I'm not sure, but the transparency that Florida has when it comes to their election process, I was like, that's interesting, because we've talked before here on the show about utilizing blockchain when it comes to voting. Blockchain, everything's public. It's a public ledger. Now, it doesn't say like, oh, Chris Berg voted, but it's got a number that you don't know who it is, but it shows that the person voted. You can see it. It's all public, and it eliminates any of this shenanigans of, hey, John, I just found 250,000 ballots in a back. Like, what? So it eliminates all that when you put everything out in the public. And apparently Florida's got a system that it's obviously not blockchain, but they're doing something to add more transparency to erase any doubt. You may not like the results, but at least you don't have any doubt. Here's some of this conversation. This whole voting thing is such a rigmarole. I mean, you think about Pennsylvania, right? Like, there's no reason that every single person in that state shouldn't have seen what they were buying with John. I mean, they knew it. They knew the guy wanted to let out, criminals. He said it in many interviews. They knew he didn't like fracking. But to see him on a stage that late in the game, that should have, if you're going to have early voting, have the debates way earlier, and obviously in the season, in the election season, but just get rid of it. or make it very short time frame. Everybody can handle that, but let people see what they're buying. This is a job interview. That's one of the things I appreciate about Senator John Hoeven. He goes out there and always says, hey, this is a job interview. I need to go and meet with the people, talk to them, let them see what they're buying. Should they hire me? Many people in Pennsylvania had already cast their vote by the time that debate took place. And you've got a guy that stands up. He gets asked a question and basically asking him, hey, you're about to probably predict the power in DC, the entire nation. Why should people feel good about casting their vote for you? And he starts off by saying, hello and good night, everybody. I mean, come on. It's sad. Third world country. Yeah, that's why I love that John played Born in the USA coming back in here. He had no idea, I'm presuming, what this Rubio interview was going to say. So I love that he's like, hey, let's go in here with Born in the USA, but it's the truth. Think about Brazil. I mean, have you ever been to Brazil? Go to Rio. Go to some of the not so well off areas in Rio. I remember I was in Rio for New Year's one year. And I'm down on the beach. I mean, I'm having a great time, right? It's Copacabana Beach. It's New Year's. There's literally a million Brazilians down on the beach. They have this thing where if you dress in white, you get in the water, sort of washes away all your past, and you get to start the new year fresh. And it's Brazil. It's beautiful. There's just amazing people down there. And I ended up getting off the beaten path a little bit from Copacabana Beach and went to go find probably an adult beverage or something. I don't remember exactly, but bottom line, like you look over to the side and there's this young girl, probably, I don't know, 9, maybe 10. She's got this giant like vat of wine that she's drinking. I'm like, what is happening right now? Right. Like it's not safe in some of those favela areas, they're called. It's just not safe. But yet Brazil was able to go down with millions and millions of people, pull off this election and get it done and not have a lot of questions. And here we are now, 4 or 5 days away from Tuesday. We've got Maricopa County, which Tucker Carlson said last night's got a $4 billion budget for a county, and we can't do elections accurately. Do you get it yet? I go back to the youth Gen Z demographic vote and why, if there's one thing that you and I need to focus on, there's actually two, I would say, but two of the biggest fulcrums right now to get this shit back on the right track. Number one is the faith piece. We've talked about the Gallup poll that I mentioned many times from 1945 to 2000, I believe it was 2009. You had over 90% of Americans that believed in some kind of a God. Since then, it's dropped precipitously to about, I think, 81%. So that's number one. And then number two is the education system. You can't continue to throw young minds into these indoctrination camps and expect them to love America. Because that's not what they're being taught. They're being taught anything but that. And we want to sit around and just continue to throw kids into these indoctrination camps and wonder why there's nobody's going to vote to say, yeah, we've got 7-8% inflation. I want more of that. It just doesn't happen unless you've been indoctrinated that socialism is better than capitalism. That's exactly what's happening in these young minds. So later on in the show, I think I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm a little bit out of it with Gramps, but we've got some great pigskin North Dakota State Championship games happening today. In fact, I think Jamestown is playing Fargo North right now. So if you've got a score there, John, we'll have that. But also later in the show, we got Big Game James is going to join us, talk about some of the games happening up at the Fargo Dome. And then coming up next, it is our Feel Good Friday segment. We've all been hammered with crazy news all week. We're going to flip the script a little bit and talk about an organization that's doing some really, really powerful things here in our community. Stay with us.
Cloudy conditions continue throughout this evening with a northwest wind 15 to 30, but becoming 10 to 20 miles an hour tonight. Skies will remain mostly cloudy with a low of 15. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy on Saturday. Temperatures reach near 20 in the afternoon with a north wind around 10 miles an hour with an overnight low Saturday of 16. Sunday, mostly cloudy, 24 for a high, light wind with a chance for snow flurries overnight. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
They are not just soldiers, they are our heroes. We owe so much to them. Let us never forget to pray for them and their families. Let us never forget the sacrifices they have made for us, honoring and saluting all veterans and remembering those who are serving and thanking all for their service and sacrifice. Have a blessed Veterans Day from your friends at Flum Region Mutual Insurance from Flum, Minnesota.
Jerry Breyer is here, the generous one from Gold Silver Exchange Grand Forks. Let's talk about why precious metals are so very valuable right now.
Well, many financial advisors are recommending that we buy gold and silver now. And with all the advertising you see on TV with the gold and silver, we can match and beat any of those prices. We recommend to load up on silver and gold while there's a good supply. At some point, the supply is going to get very short. And if you're not here early, you may have to be on a waiting list for some time, like we were the last time in 2011 and 12.
Call Jerry and his team. They can be trusted. You don't want to be dealing with somebody you don't know over the phone, from a TV commercial. Give them a call, 701-746-9952, or online too at Gold Silver Exchange. Tell them Scott sent you to Gold Silver Exchange Grand Forks.
Tioga, a place to grow, a place rooted in small town values and budding with big ideas, a place with a hearty work ethic and energy that shows. Enjoy our new community center, outdoor pool, park and rec activities, thriving schools, state-of-the-art clinic, the nicest general aviation airport in the state, and a vibrant main street where opportunity abounds. Tioga is fertile ground to grow your family, grow your business, grow your career, grow your garden, grow your faith and your community. It's a place to call home, where everybody knows your name, where people still smile and wave. Whether you're passing through or seeking a destination, pop in for a visit. You might just decide to plant new roots. Welcome to Tioga. Come grow with us. Visit the Tioga Chamber of Commerce at tiogand.org.
If you have kids interested in learning more about shooting and handling guns in a safe way, the Red River Regional Marksmanship Center is teaming up with the West Fargo Parks to offer youth shooting programs. They will offer intro to airgun, trap, BB gun, and rimfire rifle classes. Kids will learn to shoot and practice safely. Some youth shooting has already started, so check with West Fargo Parks to sign up at wfparks.org. Bring your kids to the range for safe shooting at Red River Regional Marksmanship Center in West Fargo.
I'm Jeff Bradoff.
And I'm Eddie Christian.
We're the hockey guys.
So if that coach wants to have a junior player get stronger and faster, wouldn't the player want to have the coach explain where he sees him today? Because otherwise, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What's fast?
I don't know.
I mean, that's going to be in the coach's eyes. Right?
Yeah. Just playing with speed overall. Obviously, the coach can see if someone's faster.
The Hockey Guys, heard right here, Saturday mornings at 8 on The Flag.
Oh, beautiful, far heroes proved in liberating strife. Who more than self?
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show here on a Feel Good Friday. Thanks to Dakota Medical Foundation and Giving Hearts Day on a Veterans Day. So thank you for that. music there, John. We appreciate it. As we talk about here every single Friday, it's been a long week. We mentioned at the top of the show, it's no longer election day, it's election week. And so when you just feel like sometimes you're getting beaten down by the news, it's always nice to go, wait a second, let's take a step back here, because there's some people out there that have committed their lives to making a difference within our community and really doing some special things to make a positive impact. That's really what Feel Good Friday is all about. So our guest today, Greg Everett, he is the executive director for Youth for Christ. We were just talking about one of the most important, actually the two most important fulcrums out there if you're going to make a major difference in our country right now is faith and the education system. So you're kind of knocking out both those things. And Greg, happy Feel Good Friday. Great to see you.
Thank you. Quite happy to be here.
It's great to have you. So just Youth for Christ, what's the mission of your organization?
You know, Youth for Christ, we have been in the area for 45 plus years. Most people probably know us because of the peaches that we bring in.
Oh, you guys have to do the peaches.
We are the ones, Colorado and Georgia peaches.
Boy.
And so, you know, that's, you ask people, Youth for Christ, oh, you're the ones that do the peaches.
Where do you get those, by the way? How are you sourcing them? They're incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And you know what? That's one of those pieces that allows us to connect with the community in a really neat way. But we are so much more than peaches. So much more. Youth for Christ, we work with teens 11 through 19. The majority of the kids that we work with are high-risk, at-risk kids. We like to say we do life together with kids. We show up when others don't. You know, we go to where kids are, and we don't expect them to come to us. You know, doing life together with kids is hugely important these days. You know, as many know, the reality is we are in a mental health crisis with teens these days. In prep for our event this week, I was just doing a little bit of research, and this is crazy. A recent study of 10,000 teens found that 47% of young people say that they are moderately or extremely depressed. 55 to 57% say they are moderately or extremely anxious or stressed. 1 in 3 young people feel like they are completely alone. 45% believe that no one understands them. Nearly 40% say they have no one to talk to. This one gets me. 10% of kids feel isolated and completely alone. 12% feel safe. They feel left out. 10% say they have no meaningful social interactions in a day. 66% say they have 3 or less meaningful interactions in a day. And 35% say they have no one to turn to when they are stressed, which is crazy.
Well, it's interesting because you and I spoke right before we went live here, and I said, so how long have you been doing this? You said 14 years, and I really wanted to ask you. So, I mean, the numbers you said are staggering, but I got to presume 14 years ago was much different. Like, what's happened? Like, what's going on?
You know, I think that, you know, you see it in the schools. More and more teachers are handcuffed.
Yes.
More and more, you know, we've got kids that aren't being parented. And so they want to send them to school, for instance, or send them to organizations to get parented. But the minute that school or that organization starts to parent their kids, well, then we don't want that going on because we parent at home, but they're really not.
Give that distinction. I think what you're saying is really important because I see with a lot of people that very easily could stay at home with their kids, meaning financially, but yet they still just daycare at like 6-9 months. And I'm not saying it's good, bad, right, or wrong, but it just it's happening and it's making an impact on our society.
The reality is parenting is really hard work. If you're going to parent, you are going to have to make some tough choices. And that means engaging with your kids. That means getting involved in their life. That means getting involved in decisions and things that are not going to make your kid happy. It might mean taking away their phone. It might mean saying you can't have the car.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Sure.
If you're just joining us, it's our Feel Good Friday. Thanks to Giving Hearts Day, Dakota Medical Foundation. Greg Everett is with us. He's with Youth for Christ. They've got a great event coming up that we'll touch on here in just a moment. I think it's a week from today, as a matter of
It is.
fact. But the more and more I watch what's going on, and you're around kids a lot more than I am, but I don't know if it's parent guilt. Maybe I'm misreading this, but it seems like the kids are almost running the show these days.
You know, we were one of our staff members was talking to one of the resource officers in one of the schools lately, and he was talking about just kind of how things were going and stuff. And he made a very, I think, important observation. No longer is there an or what, and what I mean by that is kids are messing around, and you're saying, "Don't do that," or what? What? There's nothing.
Exactly.
You know, it's getting to the point where there's no or what.
And we all know when we were kids, you were always going to push the envelope. You're
Yep.
always going to see, okay, where are you going to put your foot down? It may not even be from a malicious standpoint. It's just how people operate.
Yeah. And when you take away the or what, kids know that there's no consequence, there's no repercussion. And see, that's where the hard work comes in. You know, as a parent, you know, you have to be willing to step in, and there has to be an or what. Otherwise your kids run the show. And you know, as much as the stats, you know, this kind of stuff has been going on, and it's been increasing. The pandemic, of course, just amplified it all. So it's not like it's brand new in these last couple of years. But the real cool thing is a relationship with even one trusted adult decreases those feelings of loneliness and isolation by over 16%. You know, one adult who's willing to step into the life of a kid and say, "I care about you, and I want to get to know you." And it's not just a matter of, you know, hey, I know that kid. It's a matter of, what's that kid's story? You know, one of the things with Youth for Christ and our logo, we've got 3 rings in our logo. The first ring is it's all about stories. It's getting to know a kid's story, engaging them enough to then be able to share our story. And ultimately, we want to connect them to God's story. But it's getting to know a kid's story. We all want to be known. And it's getting to know who a kid is and what is going on, that gives them that sense of connection and says, I'm not by myself anymore.
When I was in LA, again, if you're just joining us, it's our Feel Good Friday, Dakota Medical Foundation segment here with Youth for Christ Executive Director Greg Everett. But just to put a finer point on what you're saying, when I was in LA, I was part of Big Brother, Big Sister, and just didn't know what I was doing. I just thought, hey, this would be good for me to do. Went out and did it. And I had a young Black American kid, middle school, single mom, and he was really struggling in classes because there was no one there to care. And he was like, I'm not good at math. And it was amazing. You just spent, and I'm not a math wizard, a little bit of time with him and said, hey, how's it going? Are you following through? Show that you cared. And you could just see his grades and confidence just go up. I mean, within weeks.
Yep.
And I don't say that about it's incredible what happens. And so I commend what you're doing. I want to say thank you for what you're doing to take a stand. I want to give you a chance. I know you've got an event coming up. If you want to, we've got about a minute left. Just share with people what this event is. How can people support your organization? Because I think everyone knows in our heart of hearts that, hey, we got to do something, and we got to do it now with our kids.
Sure. Our event coming up a week from today, we call it Concert for a Cause. It's at Bethel Church here in Fargo, 6:40 p.m. It is a night of worship, and it's an opportunity for us to share a little bit of our story. And then we are bringing in a gentleman named Jonathan Traylor, who is a music artist, but he also has a history in worship, and he's going to lead a night of worship. We just kind of feel like that's a natural response to what we see going on in the life of kids. You can get tickets online at redriveryfc.com. There'll be tickets at the door. They're $10. So it's a pretty cheap night. It is a fundraiser. I mean, we'll be honest, we're straight up. I mean, it's part of,
you need money to help them.
It's part of what we do to raise funds. And sometimes people go, well, how can I get involved? One of the easiest jump in points for us has been a program that we've been doing at Dakota High School, one of the alternative schools here in Fargo. We have been serving
I don't mean to
lunch.
cut you off.
No
We
problem.
have a hard break, but I just want to give out your website. It's redriveryfc.com. You were going to mention what you're doing there. Reach out to Greg, please, and just say, hey, I want to help. I want to serve. You're going to make a big, big difference. We're talking football coming up right after this.
Download the app, sign up, and say bye-bye, bugs. Tommy's Express Car Wash is that easy. Tommy's offers a cleaner car wash and an overall better experience. Wash your car as often as needed. And the best part, after 3 washes, it pays for itself, and you can use it at all 3 other FM locations. Download the app, pre-buy, and skip the line. Or stop by one of their 3 locally owned Tommy's Express Car Wash locations. Tommy's Express Car Wash. Love your ride.
This Thanksgiving, there's so much to be thankful for. Health, family, friends, and most of all, a roof over our head. Hi, it's Matt Lehman and Mike Walski from Fargo Roofing and Siding, wishing you and your family a season of thanks.
We want to thank all of the families and businesses we were able to help out this year. Whether it was insurance-related repairs, remodeling, or new construction projects, our team was ready to help. Now we look forward to working with you. Schedule a free estimate today by visiting FargoRoofing.com.
Fargo Roofing and Siding.
Not all real estate is the same. Jose Investments deals with exactly what you need. Are you looking to move into a building or buildings needing to warehouse your product? Maybe your company needs more space or another space for distribution. Some companies need a space specifically for manufacturing. See how these differ? Jose Investments knows the buyers and the sellers and can finish the deal you need to grow. Are you a buyer or a seller? Jose Investments is the company that specializes in these properties. Call Scott at Jose Investments today.
North Dakota needs strong and effective leaders to help grow our state and local communities. Leadership ND is a program designed by the University of Mary to support those who are ready to answer this call. If you're looking to expand your network and enhance your career, join the University of Mary for the next round of Leadership ND. Apply by October 31st to secure your spot in the 2023 cohort starting in January. To learn more and apply, visit leadershipnd.org.
Fevig Oil and Propane, saluting and honoring all our men and women in uniform, past, present, and future. God bless you, and thank you for all you have done and do. It is the soldier. It is the soldier, not the minister, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who gives us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who gives us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who gives us freedom to protest. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag. Copyright Charles M. Province.
Happy Feel Good Friday here on the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. It has been a fantastic Veterans Day. If you get a chance, please go out and say thank you to our wonderful veterans. And right now, coming up the Fargo Dome, we've got some Pigskin Championship games happening. I believe Jamestown and Fargo North are playing right now. And then tonight you've got Shanley and Bismarck Century, and the one and only Big Game James is joining us right now to give us the lowdown. James, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you. What's happening currently at the Fargo Dome, my friend?
Hey, I appreciate it. Right now you have the 11 single A championship game between Jamestown and Fargo North. Like you said, the Blue Jays looking to repeat as state champs. The Spartans looking to try and avenge a stinging loss in the state semis from last year. It's a 32-21 lead with 10.5 to go in the third quarter for Jamestown right now, as Fargo North looks to try and come up with a big stop defensively. Jamestown's trying to open up this football game, and North is trying to stay in it. It's been the game of big plays. North has had 2 punts blocked. They've thrown 2 interceptions, and it's a 2-score game currently. So if they minimize those second half kind of issues, they could be right back in this game and try and vie for the state championship. Otherwise, Jamestown's going to win back-to-back.
32-21. So they got somebody that's just been like eating up the yardage on the ground, or is the QBs just airing it out?
They're just airing out the football. Any
love
receiver
it.
that wants it's getting it right now. You're looking, and Fargo North's running the football with Peter Haugo. He had over 100 yards on the ground in the first half. Jeremiah Sem with 100 yards receiving in the first half for the Spartans. But you know what? Only 10 completions for Jamestown, and they had 230 yards through the air raid. So you're looking at it that way. North is trying to get their defensive backs to look for the football more and be able to come up with a big stop in the red zone right now. But it was a free-for-all when it came to the air raid in the first half for the Blue Jays.
Man, as a QB, I love hearing that. Guys just putting it up there, letting the wide receivers go up and get it. And then, of course, you're going to be I think you're doing a play-by-play tonight for the championship game, right, for AA?
We will, yeah. It'll be about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this game. You're going to be looking. It's, as of right now, set for about a 6:40 kickoff between number 3 Shanley, number 8 Bismarck Century in a championship game where Shanley last won a championship in 2018. They're looking for their first, though, in the AA division. As for Bismarck Century, they're a team that everybody counted out. They started out the year 0-5. They've now won 5 out of their last 6 games. They've only given up 8 points in the state tournament to this point, in avenging losses to West Fargo Cheyenne, the top team in the state of North Dakota, and the number 5 seeded Fargo Davies Eagles. And now they're looking to try and continue that revenge tour against the Deacons tonight and looking for their 3rd championship in the last 4 years. As for the Deacons, they have the highest powered offense in the state of North Dakota, and I say that without hesitation. You have a Division I basketball commit to South Dakota State, Connor Kraft at wide receiver. You've got the St. Thomas commit at quarterback and Michael Rosberg for the Deacons. They're going to want to get the scoring going early, but you know what? The Patriot defense is as good as it comes in the state of North Dakota. As we've seen, their last 5 games, they've shut out 3 of their 5 opponents, and one of them was left in single digits as well. So they've given up 8 total points in 4 of their last 5 games combined. For the Patriots, it's going to be an exciting game.
And that's incredible, too, when you think about it. Now it's playoff time, right? So obviously everyone knows how to put the ball in the end zone, and to keep those guys to that low of a score is just absolutely fantastic. If you're just joining us, it is state championship football here in North Dakota tonight. Got the Dakota Bowls happening, and coming up later, big game. James is going to be calling the Shanley Bismarck Century game. I guess my question for you, James, because I haven't followed the TikTok as much as you, I'm assuming with Shanley's athletes, they're going to want to air it out. But if you're Bismarck Century, are they going to just try to do ball control, run the ball, and keep it out of the hands of the Shanley offense, or what's their strategy?
Their bread and butter is going to be trying to get that ground and pound game going with running backs like Peyton Arndt, the senior, fullback Preston Zimmerman, and they got a couple of guys that can catch a pass. So Ryan Brynjolfsson, a senior for them, is going to try and do some things. So it'll be interesting. It's going to go all through the quarterback of Cayenne Barth for Bismarck Century. They're going to want to run it about 2 out of every 3 plays. They'll throw it periodically, but they're not very comfortable throwing it. If they had it their way, they'd run that football 40, 45 times, kind of like what you normally see here in the Fargo Dome with the Bison.
Wow, man, it's going to be a great game. Any predictions?
It's tough. The regular season meeting, Shanley won 14-7, and it was a season low passing yards for Michael Rosberg, 133 yards through the air. And these are 2 completely different teams than that 3rd week of September. So all I'm saying is we're in for a dogfight regardless. It's going to be exciting right here on the flag.
Great stuff. So you will be live around 6:40, you said, or what time do you go live, my friend?
So we have the Blitz, the pregame show. That starts at 6 p.m., and that'll lead right up to the national anthem and kickoff for our game. That's currently slated for 6:40, but it's all dependent on the single A game right now between Jamestown and Fargo North.
Fantastic. Big game, James. We really, really appreciate it, my friend. Have a great call tonight.
Will do. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. All right. Coming up then at 6 o'clock, you've got the Blitz. They'll walk you right up to kickoff there. Obviously, give you an update as to what happened with the final there for Jamestown, Fargo North. At least the latest, what James said, 32-21. Jamestown looking to repeat. Fargo North with the possibility to come back and win that game, avenge themselves throughout the year. And so later on as well, you've got the Shanley Deacons versus Bismarck Century. Sounds like it's going to be a really, really good game. James will give you a great call there, and enjoy the Blitz. Those guys have a great time leading you up to the game. So I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us here throughout the week. Again, we'll have obviously all the latest details on Monday about if there's any new news coming out of Arizona, Nevada on this election. We know about the runoff, of course. And to all the veterans out there, again, just thank you so much for your service. We love you. Have an outstanding, outstanding weekend. And I've got a very special guest joining us Monday who's going to be talking about this crypto carnage, this crypto meltdown, the contagion, just to debrief you on what is going on there. I'm Chris Berg. I love you. Have a great, great weekend. Stay warm. We'll see you back here Monday at 4 p.m.